All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This will be our last webinar for the year 2023. Joining us for the webinar titled 2023 Marketing Predictions and How It Applies to Your Business. All right. Without further ado, I would like us to get right into it. Okay. In starting the webinar, I want us to do a bit of a reflection as to the happenings of 2022. Just a quick run through of all that we've learned marketing-wise and how it has affected businesses. Predictions is going to apply for 2023. All right, and how it also would affect your businesses and, certain solutions you can actually project and put in place before then. And obviously, we would have a Q&A if time does permit us. All right, so let's get into it. So first things first, it's having a reflection as to what happened in 2022 marketing-wise. And how it has affected businesses and how some businesses are still being affected to date. Just an overview, we know that influencer marketing had a bit of pitfall in the Western countries as a result of 2019 and 2022, 2021 influencer marketing promoting cryptocurrency. Some influencers were actually apparently were in violation of some SEC rules, all right? So that's Security Exchange Commission based. I know that we have it in Nigeria and most countries actually have it, to be honest. They're actually there to safeguard how certain exchanges, so currencies are being promoted, all right? Yeah. So next is content marketing. We see a lot of companies actually leverage memes as part of their content marketing strategies for 2022. That was very interesting to see. It was what interested me more about it was the fact that a lot of musicians actually got quite popular still with those memes. It helped further the agenda. It helped further the type of music that they were looking to promote within that space. We have Fireboy DML, Bandana with Ashake. We even had some of Ashake songs as well, and some other ones. I know that we didn't have as much as we had in 2022 for Aki and Popo, but we had quite a bit for musicians the world over, particularly within our local region. And also, let's also talk a bit about first-party data and what it meant for businesses this year. One thing that was a spillover from 2021 was the fact that Meta was still trying to, as much as possible, ensure its artificial intelligence was in line with, ensuring that people that owned quite a bit of accounts were actually human beings. They had a bit of issue with that, to be honest, that affected quite a number of businesses in Africa. Businesses were being closed. There were some sort of violations they said that they were part of. Quite a bit of our clients actually faced that as well. Some were successfully recovering their accounts, some were not successfully recovering their accounts, which further led to people saying that you can follow another account or follow another social media platform to ensure that you get their business information, which was quite sad, to be honest. But hey, I know it's artificial intelligence is still penetrating. It's still penetrating how we use marketing, really, and how the digital economy is going to be leveraged. All right, so it's going to take a bit of getting used to. I know for the last couple of weeks there's been this profile picture. You want to have your avatar look very AI-ish. You impute certain things together to come out in different formats. So we're starting to, see the emergence of artificial intelligence, in our everyday life, in our lifestyle. It takes a bit, but, gradually it's happening. All right. Now, first party data, I really want to touch on this, and that's because it's not fully implemented within Africa yet. But in the Western world, bet you it is absolutely implemented. And this is actually speaking specifically to businesses that are doing cross-border business, all right? Your business is not just based within Nigeria or within Africa. It's in the Western world as well. It's in Europe, it's in North America, and so on and so forth. So it's very, very important that we get it right, because it's still going to come here. All right, it may not be here yet. It may take a bit of time, but it's still going to arrive. So it depends on how we actually create that model, to ensure that we are respecting people and getting their first party data. We're getting their consent is very important. Buying of database these days is highly prohibited. It is not recommended. In fact, for some platforms that you use such bot database, they would actually reject it or blacklist you from those platforms. So it's very important that we bear this in mind. And how can you get consent to receive first-party data? It's very simple. All right, if anybody makes a purchase, for example, if you run a financial service company, if you run a fintech company, it's as simple as including certain clauses saying that, oh, your database will be used, or your name or whatever it is will be used for marketing purposes, promotional purposes. Contracts should also include this as well. All right, so that way you still have, you have that legal backing to using their data as you would. All right, so that said, let's move on to the matter at hand, which is predicting the marketing in the year 2023. Now, predictions are meant to serve as a guide, okay? It's saying that we've reflected on what happened in 2022, and based on such reflections, economic-wise, all right, any power-wise, different things, this is what we're predicting for 2023. All right, so for 2023, I'm going to base off, these predictions is primarily going to be based off on the Nigerian market. All right, and that's because we're having our election season come February, and if you notice, quite a number of businesses and individuals are pretty much winding down towards that, especially businesses. So growth in 2023 will be vastly slower as compared to 2022, because a lot of brands were looking to make a bang of their buck in the year 2022. So come what may in 2023, they are still good. All right, so growth in 2023 will be slower versus 2022 because most brands will want to spend less, because then again, nobody knows what the outcome of the election would be. In as much as this is never advised. It is always advised to still create an efficient marketing budget that will carry you every single quarter of the year, whatever it is that would happen. All right. And that's because your business still has to make money, except you're running an NGO, then that's different. But if it's for a for-profit business, it has to make money every single day, as you will. All right. So you ensure that your marketing spend is on par to how much you're looking to earn in terms of revenue as a company. All right, so let's move on to pretty much an outline of what should be expected in the next couple of slides. There's no doubt that 2023 will be a year of, in fact, because I would say Q1 will be more of a sharpening focus for Q1. Businesses would want to concentrate majority of the marketing efforts within Q1 of 2023. Again, because nobody knows what the election will bring. Quite a number of things can happen, all right, in as much as we do not want to be, bearers of bad news, whatever it is, but we always ensure that we always plan even for the worst of times. For e-commerce businesses, it's still going to be thriving, except maybe when it comes to logistics and transportation of, the e-commerce goods to its customers, so its end user. But regardless, Q1 is going to be one of the fastest we've ever seen. Businesses would want to, push in as much, inject as much. So there's going to be quite a bit of noise. So what we projected for 2022 Q4 is not what we expected, to be honest. We actually expected quite a number of political noise to have overtaken the scene, but that's not happening. That has not happened, all right, in as much as we are 2 weeks to the end of the year. We are seeing quite a bit of people being more laid back, all right, especially politicians, always, taking up the out-of-home space as well as digital space. Some are, but majority of them are not. And they say there's no money in the economy, so I guess that's why. For 2022, they may want to do 2023 rather, they may want to do more of a last minute push. So if your brand is looking to now focus heavily on that at that time, you may be competing with the politicians when it comes to top of mind retention. That may not be in your best interest. But then again, we've seen that if you do it in a creative way, people would tend to be easily amenable towards that. They may fall for that and decide to adopt whatever it is that you're selling. Now, let's look at the predictions for 2023. So we're looking at predictions in terms of economy and ad spend. We're looking at predictions for visibility, predictions for reporting and measurement, predictions for content marketing, predictions for digital advertising platforms, as well as predictions for micro-influencers for the win. All right, so all this would further be buttressed during the next couple of slides. All right, now let's go to the economy and ad spend. We all know that if the economy is thriving, businesses will be happy. Okay, if the economy is not that great, businesses would suffer for it. Case in point. All right, so what we are looking to ensure that businesses thrive in 2023, it's very important to understand that transparency will be vital, very, very vital to optimizing ad spend. Okay, what are we talking about in terms of that? Transparency in terms of how accurate is the data? What are you measuring actually? All right, what is your measurement matrix based upon the objectives you set across these different social media platforms, digital marketing platforms, out-of-home platforms, cable ads platforms, if you leverage cable ads and so on and so forth. You have to be very, very transparent with yourself. All right, so transparency will be vital to optimizing ad spend. So once you're transparent and you also see the data that falls as a result of the transparency, you can easily say, okay, so we need to dial back on this platform because it's not giving us the bang of our buck. We need to, maybe use another platform or try another platform, all right, to ensure that we actually get what we want from it. Our objectives are actually met, all right? And the accurate understanding of engagement will be essential to spending efficiently. At the end of the day, it's about, oh, I'm spending this amount of money and this is the return I'm getting off of it. All right, except you're doing brand visibility. Even visibility, you know that the objective for that, your measurement for that should be either more website traffic, more inquiries, so your customer service team, their lines are ringing non-stop, things like that. Those are some of the measurement metrics you can actually look forward to with regards to that. And you have to be brutally honest with yourself. All right, so if you're spending, let's say, a couple of dollars or a couple of naira, hundreds of naira on a particular platform, and you're getting trickles in terms of website traffic, trickles in terms of customer engagement, things like that, you may need to go back to the drawing board and see what is going on. All right, maybe the creatives were not properly done, or they are not catchy enough. Maybe you need to do a bit of an A/B test to see which one will attract more people, splitting that budget in two ways for the A and the B, and reevaluating it maybe over a 2-week period or a month period. You may need to do that as well. Or if it's the case that you've actually tried that before in the past and it has worked in the past, but you've targeted the same set of people, that are bought from the brand before and they are still your existing customers, you may need to move to new customers. All right, target new customers, have new customers brought on board and see how that goes as well. All right, so next is AI and machine learning for digital advertising platforms. This is actually one I'm looking forward to heavily. In as much as right now, artificial intelligence does not seem to be hitting the mark, meaning that there's a lot of misses with it and not as much, good progressive reports with it. But it's not, the big digital advertising platforms will not shy away from it. All right. In fact, what they do is they leverage learnings based on your past ads. All right, your past ads, how people have interacted with the ads and so on and so forth to further, recommend your ads to be seen by more people within that category. All right, so it's very, very important that AI and machine learning for digital advertising platforms will come into play in 2023. All right. Again, it's going to be a testing period, so there'll be a lot of hit and miss. When you put up an ad and they are rejecting it, and you're saying, what is going on? Why are they rejecting this ad? It's beyond human factor. All right, it's way beyond human factor. They've actually injected like artificial intelligence into ensuring that, okay, so this ad can progress to the next round or it's absolutely rejected. Case in point, we had a bit of an issue with running a financial technology ad for a client about 2 weeks ago. About 10 of the ads that we created actually was rejected. And a member of the Facebook team reached out and we had a conversation about that. And it pretty much said that, oh, they now have a new policy. So again, policies will keep coming up. Things will keep changing. And that's why it's very, very important to always read. All right, Facebook actually, but then they don't play around when it comes to, oh, have you read our advertising policies? You have to keep yourself abreast of the information contained there. All right, so for this financial technology brand, all we needed to do was pretty much upload some certain information and place the ad under special category. All right, in previous times, special category was not applicable to financial services. It was only applicable to NGOs as well as politics. All right, but things are changing. All right, so it's best to always keep yourself abreast as to what's going on as well, so you don't see these rejections. All right, the exploration of new channels as businesses seek new customers. So again, do not relegate your marketing to just one channel because that channel has always worked for you. You want to explore. All right, that's what marketing is about. You want to explore to, to get more customers on board. All right, so while maybe you are spending 50% of the budget on the channel that's always worked for you, I would advise you spend 50% of the 100% into a new channel. Explore. All right, do a bit of research. What has worked for this channel? Let's say you run an e-commerce brand that's actually into fashion wear. Quite a bit of people love fashion, right? Especially in Nigeria. All right, so you can actually do in-app sort of ads as well. You can go, when I say in-app ads, you can use it for mobile phones, the most expensive ones, the iPhone 14s, the iPhone 13s, especially if your clothing is within a certain category in terms of pricing. You can also leverage platforms such as Snapchat ads. All right, you can also leverage platforms such as TikTok ads. Okay, I know that these things are gradually coming to the African space. They're not fully here yet, the way you do with Facebook, Google, and all that, but they are there. All right, and I know Ad Dynamo has always been there, year-rounds, since time immemorial, to create, to ensure that Africans actually get the bang of their buck in advertising on this platform. So you can reach out to them and, just come up with a plan with them. So Snapchat, TikTok, especially if your target audience, your buyer personas are within, the Gen Z generation, you want to go where they are. Okay, and they won't come to you. You have to always go where they are. All right, so more nuanced media planning, assessing efficiency of channel mix to reach the breadth of intended audience. So when you talk about media planning, you're talking about, so where am I spending this money? Why am I spending this money there? What am I to expect when I spend this money there? Now, this covers digital, it covers out of home, it covers events, it covers sponsorship, it covers every single thing. All right, this way you have to be very, 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 very detailed. All right, so what are the percentage of people in Zamfara that would actually buy from me? All right, what are their age range? What are their earning power? Based off on the what's the minimum, is the minimum salary range for Nigerians? Things like that have to factor into that decision. How much is this ad space? Even if you're looking to use micro influencers, this also has to come into play. We're going to talk about micro influencers in a bit, but all these things have to come into play. Be very, very nuanced when it comes to your media planning. All right, these things are very, very, very easy. And I think the next couple of webinars that Pandora will be hosting would actually cover how to create some of these things. So for businesses that do not have, the marketing capabilities or the capacity at all in terms of manpower in-house, we can actually put you through on how to, create some of these media plans to ensure you are spending the bank of your marketing budget right. Okay, all right, so let's move on to visibility, which is a third prediction for 2023. Every single brand, I keep saying this, there is no way a customer will buy from you except you are visible, except they see you. If they don't see you, what are they buying really? So it's very, very important that visibility should be top of mind, all right, especially ongoing visibility. So don't just run a couple of campaigns. This is actually speaking particularly to MSMEs and SMEs. All right, so you don't want to run just a couple of campaigns for 2 months, 3 months, and feel that's it. No, you have to keep being top of mind. You have to always be in the faces of people. So you may not even put ad budget behind it, but it is important rather that you create content that is relevant. You create content that they can actually, that's relevant to them at different phases of their lives. It's saying that Black Friday, someone is advertising Black Friday sales right now, as opposed to, when it was really, really hot cake back then, all right, which was, I think, the last week in the month of November. All right, so things like that, timing matters as well. So let's go to visibility. So meet Gen Zs in their world and not the other way around. Like as mentioned earlier, we were talking about the economy and ads budget. You have to, for Gen Zs, it's their world. They're officially the first generation actually grew up in the digital world. All right, so things are very, very different for them. All right, and they want to be included. So they want to know that wherever it is I'm shopping, whatever it is I'm doing, it matters. So that they're looking at sustainability, they're looking at how it helps the environment, they're looking at different things. You may think these things do not matter. Oh, they don't care. They do care. They do care. And I'm going through quite a bit of data, highlighting some of these points. So for Gen Zs, it's pretty much leveraging platforms that they always are on. All right, we know these platforms already. It's leveraging offline events that that they would always be there. All right, so either you curate this event, or you partner, or you sponsor, or you just show up. Either way. All right, so but it's very, very important if you're especially targeting this target market, that you do things that would always be seen by them. All right, so next is leveraging community-based platforms. I can't stress this enough. WhatsApp is an amazing platform that people do not, I don't say enough people actually leverage. Excuse me, a bit of water break. All right, so I don't see us leveraging as much WhatsApp platforms as we should. You can actually build a community just based using WhatsApp as a platform. You can actually bring all your customers together using WhatsApp as a platform. You can communicate effectively using WhatsApp as a platform. You can cross-market, cross-sell your products using WhatsApp as a platform. Now, WhatsApp is not the only community-based platform I'm talking about now. You can use there's so many of them, that can leverage to the success of a business. Even Facebook groups, if Facebook works for your brand, not everybody, it doesn't work for everybody anymore. But if Facebook works for your brand, Facebook group works for your brand, please leverage Facebook group. If LinkedIn groups works for your brand, leverage that as well. It depends on your sector, it depends on your industry, it depends on what you're selling, what services you're providing. All those things, you have to factor that into the mix as well. All right, so let's go to privacy, experiences, impact. So this also goes back to first-party data. You want to ensure that the database, when I say database, I'm talking about email addresses and phone numbers. Those two things are gold. They are literally gold. You want to ensure that they are from people that you have received their consent. All right, you want to use this in a way that, okay, yes, I received the consent of this person. Therefore, when I'm sending SMS marketing, I'm sending newsletters, I'm sending this, I'm sending that, I'm cold calling, I've gotten their consent. All right, and that's because it does impact trust. I know that in a survey of about 7,000 Europeans was conducted. Was it not GIY or GWI? Pardon me, GWI. It's a research firm. They conducted a research of 7,000 Europeans, and they discovered that they would actually move away from buying from a brand if they receive a random email, a random SMS. It's just very irritating, to be honest. So, and people are becoming very, very much aware of things like that. For example, someone would call me, and the first question I would ask, if I know that I did not do business with your brand, how did you get my number? And they're never straightforward when they respond with regards to that. The same thing via newsletters as well. So you want to ensure that respect people's privacy. All right, it actually helps build trust. All right, so voice-powered everything. Honestly, this is one technology that I'm equally looking forward to as well. I had this amazing time when I was in the Western world. That's North America. I was there for a bit, and quite a number of things I did was just voice powered. I did not have to type anything. It was kind of lazy. I didn't have to type anything. Everything was voice powered. You get it as long as you use the right intonation, and so on and so forth. The hands-free technology is here, honestly, and I don't think it's going away. All right, I don't think it's going anywhere. So in as much as it's not fully in Africa yet, it's something that we need to start that process. Start that process. For example, when you put out, LinkedIn would say, what is your full name? They would actually put, spell out your full name or state out your full name. Do things, start learning with things like that. All right, even on Google, you want to ensure that you also start leveraging the voice-powered tools. All right, because honestly, the entirety of digital platforms, especially digital advertising platforms, will be AI powered very soon. And some of these platforms are introducing these technologies to ensure that once this is fully in place, that the customers do not have issues. And I would employ you to pretty much start leveraging off of that as well. All right, so non-content marketers with the big box rethink their approach to measurement. Absolutely. Everybody wants to know, where is my advertising dollars going to? Where's my marketing budget? Where is it going to exactly? What returns am I getting? Is it to aid the sales units? Customers seeing the ad before the sales unit either gets to their shop or receive the newsletter from the sales unit, or whatever it is. So people are starting to rethink that. How can I effectively measure this? I do not just want, oh yes, cost per click. Okay, how does it affect customer service? The customer service receive the number of calls that we actually envision for the month based upon the budget that we send. So even if you do not have a marketing budget, or you have an agency partner that does this for you right now, you need to start asking them these questions every single month, every single week. What is the data showing? All right, what is the report? What is it reflecting based off on our partnership with you? All right, so it's time to wake people up, especially marketers, for small businesses. It's not just the big businesses that enjoy measurement and enjoy receiving reports. No, it should be across the board. All right, that's why at Pandora we're very, very big on measurement. Our slogan is very, very straightforward: where measurable marketing meets creativity. We are very measurement driven, and if you do not like what we see when we actually do some certain measurement, it's time to start thinking, okay, so what is going on? How can we improve this before the next reporting? What strategies do we need to change? All right, so it's very, very important for marketers to have this knowledge. Now, let's look at reporting and measurement. Google Analytics is changing in 2023. I believe they're introducing their universal analytics. This is something I've read up on it, but it's something that they keep changing and adding some things to it. So it's very, very important that you understand what is being said. Google Analytics, for people that do not have this information, do not know about Google Analytics, it's pretty much an analytics tool by Google that you can put on your website to track the performance of your website. E-commerce is applicable there. An informational website is applicable there. You can set up goals based off on what you want your website to look like in terms of performance every single week, every single month. It's a very, very efficient tool. I think as way back as about 8 years ago, 9 years ago, that's when I really, really fell in love with Google Analytics. I think that's one of the earliest time they actually launched it into the market, and it has been free. It's actually not paid for. I don't know if they're going to be charging for the next one, but so far it's been free and it's been very, very effective. All right, an accurate measurement will be a crucial, strong ROI. Now, one thing that is very important for us is, while these insights, these analytics, these reports are out there, it is not just for it to be out there. We have to subconsciously, always, every single week, all right, especially for small businesses, you don't have that much budget to burn. Every single week, you have to state clearly what your performance has been, all right, because you would know how to further optimize either your ads, your content, to increase the performance of it. All right, so I know a feature on Instagram and a feature on most platforms, really, most advertising platforms these days actually features where you can actually see, okay, what times are my people online? All right, my audience, what times are they online? So that way you can click to ensuring that your ads are always submitted to these guys at that time, as opposed to it's running 24 hours when maybe they're going to be just online for 6 hours. All right, that will save you a lot of cost. All right, so we need to start thinking about that. So it says here that ads timing is essential, with 66% of global consumers stating they are more likely to pay attention if an ad captures their interest in the first 5 seconds. I've always said this. the attention span of humans is really, really low. In fact, has gone lower than 8 years ago. All right, so it's very important that whatever message that you want to pass across, do not just let your ads be running, then it will get to maybe like 20 seconds before you now put in the core of the information. No, within the first 2 seconds, the core of the information should start, revealing itself. It's like writing an essay, an essay to maybe to get grants or whatever it is. You want to put the core of the information to change the minds of those people that give you that grant within the first 2-3 paragraphs. All right, because that way you have captivated their attention. So the same, we like to say, ideology applies here as well. All right, the same thing say, like I mentioned earlier, rather, efficient use of first-party data and granular reporting will influence ad spend. All right, so it's very, very important. So how efficient are you using your first-party data? All right, how effective is the measurement process? All right, so once you have this knowledge, then you can make better informed decisions. Very, 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 very important. All right, so let's move on to content marketing because we have a bit to go. Content marketing, as it were, as mentioned earlier, AI is here, it's not going anywhere. Web3 technologies here as well, it's not going anywhere, it's just going to keep evolving. But what we have also seen in terms of the avenue for content marketing is it can do so much more than we actually thought that it could. All right. I see people writing their essays for school, using AI technology. Of course, it's not going to be 150%. It may just be about maybe 60%, but it's something. All right. So it's inching towards that. So it's saying that if a small business owner does not have a whole content marketing team, you may want to fall back and start leveraging some of this technology. Again, it will not be 150%, but then there are some learnings you get from it. Take your Grammarly, for example. Grammarly is one tool that is not 150% accurate. You also have to use your human mind to actually ensure that whatever it is that you send out is grammatically correct, even if it is Grammarly. All right, so it's going to help fill the creative gaps in terms of content writing. You've seen it now with last 2 weeks that in terms of can anyone hear me? Hello, can anyone hear me? I went out for a bit.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can hear you. We can
Okay.
hear you.
So, my screen, can anyone see my screen as well?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. All right, so I'm trying to close this. Give me a second. So it's distracting. All right, so it's looking at different ways in which we can actually use the AI technology in filling certain gaps within organizations. All right. Again, it would not be 150%. We are just at the start, we're at the early stage of the implementation of some of these technological inventions. All right. So you say content marketing is about the future, preparing audiences and customers to solve their problems, meet their challenges, and reach their goals. Now, another thing about content marketing I want us to know is that the entire social search engine platforms across the world is powered by content. All right, content in various formats. That's why Google remains #1 search engine in the world. YouTube remains #2. YouTube, because it's powered by content marketing, but from a visual standpoint. All right, content, when you say Google, from all of that category, from text, from images, from videos, it's just all encompassing, as a platform. So it's very, very important that we bear this in mind as well. All right, so give me a second, please. Some of this functions. Okay. Okay. So we're done with that. So moving on to the other aspect of content marketing as well. As writers, it's very important that we include as much audio, video, images, all that. As mentioned, as I just mentioned now, Google is powered by various forms of content marketing, all right? It's not just text. It is not just images. It is not just videos. It is all encompassing. So you want to ensure that while you're saving that image, you're saving it accurately, all right, using the accurate terms. So if you're looking to be found for, your brand to be found for something, you also want, the images to be that some sort of, avenue for your brand to get traction. All right. So let me give an example. You're writing a blog post on the invention of fintech, right? And you're a fintech company, right? So what you do is, if you're a POS terminal outsourcing company, you want to take real life images, take it of your customers. Once you take such a real life image, once you insert it in your blog post, you want to ensure that the tags are accurate. All right, the meta tags, the indexing, all that carries the name of your brand. It really, really does help in the long run. All right. And next is saying that exactly. So for instance, Google understands photos on a deeper level. So that's why, as opposed to using stock images that has been on the World Wide Web for God knows how long, you can use original. They will prioritize. Google would prioritize original photos as opposed to stock images. Okay. All right, so next is 33% of digital spend goes to social media. Absolutely. So we see that quite a bit of people are moving their budget. Yes. So when you say digital spend, we are talking about, what you spend on Google, you spend on any other search engine for that matter, Yahoo and all that. 33% of that goes to social media. So you're looking at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and so on and so forth. All right. And it's only going to keep evolving. All right. It's only going to keep growing. All right. So number one, in terms of predictions for 2023, is to ensure that you update your search smart. What does that mean? Update certain things that would make, not certain things, update your content as it applies to, you being found on the World Wide Web. All right. So it's saying that if you have, maybe you've not taken a headshot or you've not written any article, or your website content has been what it has been since 1999, it is time to update it. All right. Update it so it can be found with ease. All right. So that's how it applies to your business. All right. The same thing applies for TikTok as a platform. If your business is in line with certain sectors or certain industries, fashion, lifestyle, things like that, you want to be on TikTok. That is where the bulk of your audience would be. It's a more visual-based platform, all right? And it's growing drastically when it comes to SERPs, all right, which is more of a search engine results page. So it's literally taking, I won't say it's taking over, but it's gradually getting to where Google is in terms of search engine results page as well. All right, so now let's look at advertising, the second part of the advertising platform, which is MetaSuites. MetaSuites comprises of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and the other visual headsets that they have as part of their business lineup. All right, so for MetaSuites and what Mark Zuckerberg has pretty much said would be the norm going forward, AI is going to would start recommending more posts, all right? And at least 40% of this posts will be from people you have no idea exist, from people that you do not know, from brands that you've never followed, all right? So it's very, very important that it's important that you create content that matters, because it will start positioning content that matters towards people that falls within the audience of such a content, all right? So it's very, very important. So it's always going to prioritize the best performing post. What does that mean? So it's going to prioritize posts that has the most engagement. It's pretty much the same thing, really. But this time around, as opposed to, having maybe some sort of manual input, is going to be basically AI recommended. All right. So at the same time, I know that Facebook has always been big proponents of promoting external links. One of the earliest times posting on Facebook, as opposed to Twitter was because of the links. Twitter did not encourage links, but Facebook always had. All right, so I know they're moving fast away from that as well, unfortunately. All right, so it's very, very important. While they're moving fast away from that, you still have to create content that matters. All right, because once you create content that matters, people will find you. It's really that simple, whether the link is there or not. Another thing for businesses is that Meta is going to go live. Now, Meta live shopping right now would mean Instagram, would mean Facebook, not Twitter and WhatsApp actually as well. But when you're saying live, you're talking about live. People will start shopping like the way they do in China. China has a lot of live shopping. All right. It's not just an e-commerce platform, it's more of live streaming to actually buy things off of the World Wide Web. All right. I know Facebook is going to, I think they've started doing that in the Western countries. It has not just gotten to Africa yet. But I know that's something that they've actively been testing as well, and something that would also, would eventually encroaching every of their other platforms as well. Now let's talk about Pinterest. Pinterest is another platform that is very, very exciting. Why they've not expanded into the African market is unknown. And that's because I've known Pinterest as far back as I'll see when I was doing research for this, I noticed that I had some things pinned as far back as 9 years ago. That's a long time. To be a great avenue for Pinterest also set up, some sort of advertising framework for the African market as well. So for Pinterest, I know that they are looking at that because they're getting a new CEO. So that would be good for businesses, especially businesses in the fashion world, the interior decor world, things like that. That would be great for them to advertise as well. All right. So also it will also help refine search and discovery. So when you're searching for certain things that are visual based, Google would always prioritize Pinterest pins. All right, so the same thing may apply in this case. Once they have expanded their reach into the African market, and the search and recovery will be more seamless in that way. Discovery is the backbone of exactly. So like as I mentioned, discovery being the backbone rather of the Pinterest, it's not going to change. It would always be the same, to be honest. But they just need to know that we in Africa, we are here and we are ready to do business with them. And this is just a bit of the snapshot from the interview with Mark that pretty much said that AI is the way to go going forward. And that is pretty much let me just quickly read that. So what's basically going to happen is that over the next year or two, we'll start showing more recommended content in the feed, and we'll know that we're doing a good job because the content in the beginning is going to displace some other content. So some content will no longer be found, really. That's what I was trying to say. And either displacing that content is going to lead to negative feedback from people and lead to people connecting with each other less in all the metrics that we're focused on, or would actually lead to people connecting more and being more satisfied with the product. So pretty much they're just doing a guess game right now. They're not sure what the result will be, but they're going to try it anyway. So we should get ready for that as well. All right, so we're going to talk about micro-influencers very soon. Micro-influencers, very, very interesting. I liked my points very soon. According to the Morning Consult study, 88% of people say it's important for influencers to be authentic and genuinely care about their interests. I couldn't agree more, to be honest. For me to actually buy from a person online these days, especially in Nigeria, I have to trust that someone that I know or someone that I admire their values has actually bought from them, because quite a number of people have gotten their hands burnt, making such purchase decisions by celebrity influencers. We've known of quite a number of scam schemes that's happened, and people have, lost quite a bit of money as a result of it being promoted by celebrity influencers that never used or invested in those platforms themselves. So according to MediaKate, it pretty much defined micro-influencers as accounts for anywhere between 10,000 to 50,000 followers, and macro influencers as 500,000 to 1 million followers, which is quite interesting, to be honest. And that's because They're also micro influencers that can even have a lot less following rather, and can be way more impactful. Again, people want influencers that have either done active business with these people before, and they can actually give accurate verdicts. All right, the recommendation is actually accurate. All right, so it's not about the number of followers that they have, but the relationship equally matters, with the followers that they have. All right. And that is one thing we also encourage at Pandora for any of our clients that is looking to go the influencer marketing route. First of all, the target market of your recommended influencers. All right. What is their earning power? Can they actually afford to buy any of these things that you want the influencers to showcase? What are their age range? Things like that. What are their values? It's very important. People overlook that, but it's very important because it can either make or mar your brand in the long run. All right. So a bit of more data. So social bakers pretty much say that influencers actually macro influencers boost up about 60% increased engagement rate as compared to the macro. So those with the larger numbers, the small guys with the smaller numbers boost more engagement than those with the larger numbers, as well as 20% increase in conversion, which is incredible, to be honest. So I suppose it's more of a case of quality versus quantity. All right. So with the bigger numbers, you have quantity. With the smaller numbers, you have quality. All right. Those are the ones that would engage on more of a granular level with your customers, as the case may be. All right. So for businesses, let's go back to small businesses and how this applies. It's very important. You can actually start a relationship with a micro influencer, especially those that you've admired. Even if they don't have the numbers, start that relationship with them. You can also make them affiliates of your brand. All right, affiliates of your brand in the sense that if they recommend, they promote, and so on and so forth your brand at any time, and anybody makes a purchasing power, there's actually a software that would help track that. It's called a PAP. I think it's a Post Affiliate Pro or something. I'm going to look for the name. It helps track end to end. Where did the lead come from? Where did it come from? Number one. Number two, what channel as well, and also what percentage in terms of influencer, rather affiliate cost are you looking to give that influencer? So all these things can be used, and all these things are just avenues to get more businesses in. At the end of the day, you want to get more businesses in. That's the whole essence of running a business, really. So when working with micro influencers, brand with your little influencer experience that are on tight budget can earn a higher ROI, since typically costs are lower and audiences are more engaged. And that covers it for micro influencers. So as we're looking to wrap up this session today, one thing I also want us to talk about is challenges, right? Especially for small businesses. Not every small business can actually afford to have a full-fledged marketing unit. That's why most outsource, from creative design, creative banner designs, to content, to actual digital marketing, to social media marketing, to social media management. Most businesses cannot afford to have people in-house, but they can outsource, and that's what they do. So talent challenges will still remain a big issue come 2023. Absolutely, especially in this climate. Employee turnover would likely be never stop, to be honest. And finding great people will continue to be a challenge. All right, so it's very important that while you may not have these guys in house, so you can still get this result you want for your marketing by simply outsourcing it. All right. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat box, and I would read them out once we are done with the session in the next 1 to 2 minutes, so we can finish 2 o'clock on the dot. All right. All right. So summary. Number one, acquiring new customers or consumers and increasing brand awareness should be a marketer's top priority. All right, that should be your marketer's top priority as a small business owner as well. All right, so also smart advertisers will stop buying unseen ads. This used to be the case, especially with the Apple and the Meta war. All right, but that is gradually changing because, again, marketers would always find a way. So as a business owner, it's very important that you also preach this. It's very important that you state this. Oh, I did not see my owl. Can I see my owl? Where is the owl? All that should be stated in your report. Going back to basics with employee activation. I've always said this, there are two major stakeholders to every business. There is the internal, there is the external. Your internal stakeholders are the most important stakeholders you would ever have. In fact, they are the number one, then the number one micro influencers for your business. So they're either buying into the vision of the organization and also, ensuring that your business is seen, is heard, or they are not. All right, so it's either your values align or they don't align. But it's very important that even as a business, you carry your employees along. It does not matter what volume of employees you have. You can have one, you can have half. All right, you have to carry them along. They need to know what is going on, especially with the business and where you're looking to go to, because that way they can easily become affiliates and influencers of your brand. This brings me to a story that there was something we tried in my last place of paid employment, and I pretty much came in as part of the revamped team to restructure the entire company. It was a 23-year-old company at that time, and the employees were not engaged in any way, shape, or form. They were just there to collect salaries, and that was it. And as part of the communication strategy to ensure that digital was starting to gain ground then, that they were posting, on their statuses, they were engaging with the brand online, things like that. We introduced some sort of, what do they call it now? Commission-based program, yes. We introduced that commission-based program saying that aside from the sales team, just regular operational team, if you introduce, people to come and save with the company, people to bring their money into the company, they were going to get a certain percentage as commission. All right. So obviously there was the minimum amount of people you could bring. There was also there was no maximum, but there was the minimum amount over a certain period, and that became a norm for the brand. And I think they still do it today. So it's something that every single year they also looked forward to it, especially the employees, because that's also extra money into their pockets. All right, so it's something that you could also introduce to your employees as well. And last but not the least is outsourcing to marketing agencies. Now, all that I said, for you as a small business owner, it may be really, really bogus, it may be really bogus and cumbersome, but really it doesn't have to be. So whether it's a small business or a big one, you can generate more content, you can generate more visibility, you can generate, everything to ensure that your brand is seen and your brand converts by using and outsourcing to a digital marketing agency. All right, so it's quite different when you have people that you just hired in-house, because their experience level may vary. All right, they may just be starting out and so on and so forth. But once you outsource to a digital marketing agency rather, that had wealth of experience, all right, that's coming with proven track record, the progress is seen, the significance of that and the continuous improvement with that is just going to be seamless for your brand. You're just going to sit, read the reports, and just watch your business grow year on year. All right. Now, with that being said, if we do not have any questions, I would like to take us through what Pandora Agency is about. So we're a digital market. No, we are not a digital marketing agency. We've actually evolved beyond being a digital marketing agency we once were. We are now a marketing and communications agency. So what does that mean? It means that every form of marketing that you need for your business to thrive, you can call on us and would actually ensure that it's done. This is talking about from field activation to even digital marketing to influencer marketing to countless things, really, social media marketing, whatever it is to ensure your brand gets seen and converts, we will do for you. All right, so we call ourselves a full-fledged marketing outfit. All right, and what we do is we pretty much look at your sector, we look at your target audience, we look at your objectives, and we come up with a plan for you. All right, and that's how we pretty much execute, and we send you reports based off on that, and we have conversations based off on that as well to ensure towards the success of your brand. We are very innovative. I work with an amazing set of people that are very committed and dedicated to ensuring that every single brief, all right, every single brief is a success. All right, so we work very tirelessly towards that. All right, so we employ a lot of innovation, we employ a lot of strategy, a lot of research when it comes to that. We provide brand development. We all know that once you've gotten past the stage of ideation for any brand, the next thing is start looking at, okay, so what would it look like? Visually. So that's your logo, that's your fonts and so on and so forth. We provide that. We also provide strategy development. This is the time where we would usually conclude marketing strategy development for the year 2023 for most brands. So campaign implementation. So you have a campaign rather, you want to implement, you speak to us about it. We look at the overall strategy and we execute on your behalf. We also provide lead generation services to countless companies that we've done successfully over the years. We also provide creative development production. So we partner with quite a number of brilliant minds in the creative space that has to do with television production, that has to do with, motion, it's different things. And we provide this service as well. Now, lastly, perception building. This is also called personal branding. We provide to C-suite executives across industries and across the globe. All right, do we have any other questions? Do we have any questions at all before we conclude this session today? All right, then. So I know the recording of this session will be made available and posted across our YouTube as well as social media platforms to ensure that those that were not available present. I know that it's the Utah season. People don't want to be distracted from the holiday season, but I hope this would help someone, even if it's in January. All right, then. Thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate your time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.